The day I signed a contract to become my boss's husband, I thought I was only saving her reputation and my own broken life. I never imagined that a marriage built on a lie would become the one place where both of us finally discovered the truth about love. A year earlier, I was just a struggling employee trying to survive, and she was a powerful woman who had everything except the one thing money could never buy, someone who truly cared. Before we begin this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected connections, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel Echoes of Hope for more inspiring stories. My name is Adrian Vale, and my life had never been easy. I grew up learning that dreams were expensive and mistakes were unforgettable. After losing my family's small business because of a bad investment, I spent years trying to rebuild myself. I worked long hours, accepted every difficult task, and stayed invisible because being noticed often meant being blamed. That was how I ended up working as a personal assistant for Seraphina, the CEO of one of the fastest-growing companies in the city. Everyone knew her as a fearless businesswoman who could walk into any room and make people listen. She was respected, admired, and sometimes feared. But behind the glass walls of her office and the perfect image she showed the world, there was a loneliness nobody noticed. Seraphina was different from the rumors people spread about her. She was not cold. She was careful. Life had taught her that trusting people came with a price. Her father had built the company she now controlled, but after his passing, relatives and business partners fought over everything. She learned to depend only on herself because everyone who promised loyalty eventually wanted something from her. For months, I watched her from a distance. I noticed small things nobody else saw. She always stayed late because she hated going home to an empty apartment. She secretly helped employees who were struggling but never accepted appreciation. She remembered everyone's problems while pretending she had none of her own. Then one evening, everything changed. I was finishing work late when Seraphina called me into her office. The city lights reflected on the windows behind her, but her expression looked more tired than powerful. She told me she needed a favor that would change both of our lives. A major investor was planning to remove her from the company because they believed her personal life showed instability. A marriage arrangement had been created by her late father years ago, and if she was still unmarried by a certain deadline, control of the company could be challenged. The deadline was approaching, and suddenly the woman who controlled millions was facing the possibility of losing everything. Her solution shocked me. She wanted a one-year marriage contract. A legal arrangement. Nothing more. She would pay me enough money to clear my debts and rebuild my life. In return, I would become her husband for 1 year and help protect the future she had spent her entire life creating. At first, I felt insulted. I wondered if she saw me as someone who could be bought. But then I saw something hidden in her eyes. Fear. Not the fear of losing wealth, but the fear of losing the only thing her father had left her. I agreed. The wedding was small and private. There were no romantic promises, no dreams about forever, and no expectations. It was simply an agreement between two people who needed each other for different reasons. The first weeks were uncomfortable. We lived in the same house but felt like strangers. Seraphina continued being the unstoppable CEO outside, and I continued playing the role of her supportive husband whenever people were watching. But slowly, the fake part started becoming real. I discovered that she hated eating alone, so I started making dinner even when she came home late. She discovered that I still carried guilt over my family's failure, so she quietly helped me believe that one mistake did not define my entire life. We started having simple moments that were never part of the contract. Morning coffee together. Quiet walks after stressful days. Laughing over small mistakes. Sharing memories we had never told anyone else. For the first time in years, Seraphina stopped pretending she was unbreakable. She showed me the person behind the title, behind the success, behind the perfect image. One rainy night, I found her sitting alone in the living room after a difficult business meeting. She had lost a major deal, something that could have damaged the company badly. The woman who had faced thousands of challenges without fear finally looked exhausted. That was the moment I realized something painful. I was not pretending anymore. I genuinely cared about her. But I reminded myself of the contract. I was only there for a year. As months passed, the world began to believe our marriage was real. Employees noticed how much happier Seraphina seemed. Her friends saw the difference. Even people who once criticized her started respecting the way she handled both her company and personal life. Then came the hardest test. A rival discovered the truth about our arrangement. They threatened to expose everything, believing Seraphina's reputation would collapse. The news could destroy the company and everything she had fought for. I expected her to protect herself first. Instead, she protected me. She offered to take full responsibility, even though it could cost her everything. She believed I had sacrificed enough for her, and she refused to let me become the villain in someone else's story. That was when I understood the greatest thing about Seraphina. She had spent her life surrounded by people who wanted her power, but she was still someone capable of putting another person before herself. I decided I could not let her fight alone. I helped uncover the truth behind the rival's plan and worked day and night to protect the company. For the first time, we were not acting like a married couple. We were truly partners. We won. The company survived. The lies were exposed. The people who tried to destroy Seraphina lost their influence. But after everything ended, there was one thing left. The contract. The one-year agreement was almost finished. I packed my things quietly because I believed that was what I had promised. I thought leaving would be easier than admitting I had fallen in love with someone who was never supposed to become part of my life. When I walked out of the house, I expected relief. Instead, I felt like I was leaving my home. Days passed, and I tried to return to normal life. I started building my own career again with the confidence Seraphina had helped me find. But every place reminded me of her. Every small success felt incomplete because she was not there to share it. Then one evening, I received a message asking me to return to the company. When I arrived, I saw Seraphina standing in the office where our story had started. But this time, she was not the distant CEO I had met before. She looked like someone who had finally stopped hiding from her own feelings. She had prepared new papers. Not another contract. A choice. She wanted a real marriage. Not because of the company. Not because of appearances. Not because she needed protection. Because she loved me. The woman who once believed love was a weakness had discovered that the right person could become strength. I realized something important that day. Sometimes life brings people together through unusual circumstances. Sometimes the beginning is not perfect. Sometimes love does not arrive with a beautiful moment or a planned future. Sometimes it arrives quietly, while two broken people are simply trying to help each other survive. Our marriage started as an agreement, but it became something neither of us could have planned. A reminder that people are not defined by their past mistakes, their struggles, or the walls they build around their hearts. Seraphina taught me that strength is not about never falling. It is about finding someone who helps you stand again. And I taught her that being loved does not mean losing independence. It means finally having someone beside you who chooses you every day. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that unexpected kindness can change a person's entire life, please support this video by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your engagement helps more people discover stories filled with hope. Before the ending, I have one special request. Please comment the words, "Kindness changes everything," if you believe a small act of care can create a beautiful new beginning. Years later, people still asked how a fake marriage became real. The answer was simple. Two people entered a deal expecting nothing but a temporary arrangement, but they left with something priceless. They found trust. They found healing. They found a love that was never written in a contract, but was always meant to be.